everybody. In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can make this dancing text effect using Unreal Engine's motion design tools. And I do have a few tips and tricks up my sleeve in this video, so I hope you get a lot out of it. Of course, we are using a Soundwave Animator, but there is a little bit more to this tutorial than just the Soundwave Animator. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing I do want to share is that this particular setup doesn't operate in real time. Given that we have dynamic text that's being converted to a mesh that's then being modified by animators and deformers, this doesn't play back at real-time speeds. So I'm actually playing back a video render using the Media Viewer, which is a new feature in Unreal Engine 5.7. If you want to use the Media Viewer, you can go to the Edit menu, choose Plugins, and type in Media Viewer. And here's the plugin. You'll want to activate that, restart Unreal, and then you'll have access to the Media Viewer. Under the Window menu, you'll find Media Viewer available. With it open, you get this playback view that's really, really awesome. Besides being able to play back video directly off the sequencer, we also have an A/B viewer with all kinds of settings for adjusting overlays and transparencies. This is super useful for anyone who's doing motion graphics from reference or animating from reference. There's loads of uses for this, so highly recommend using that if you're in that space. Now, I have this set up based on the fact that I have a media track, which we'll go through the full construction process of this later in the tutorial, but this media track is basically routing a video file into a texture, right? So here is double click. This is the media file right here. It's an MP4. And then in sequencer here, the properties of this is putting that video file frames into a media texture. And so then here in the Media Viewer under Library, I've just selected that media texture, selected the A input, and now we're seeing that as the sequencer plays. So that's how that works. Definitely a highly recommended little feature. So the next thing to know is that I'm going to go ahead and build this scene up from scratch. If you're already familiar with creating a new level in Unreal and adding text and getting that going in motion design, then you're welcome to skip ahead in the chapters to where we get working with audio in the sequencer. But for everyone else, we're just going to go ahead and start up this project from scratch. So let's go ahead and stop our sequencer. I'll just set the media player aside. Here is the actual text actor, and I will just start with creating a new motion design level. So I'll go to the File menu, choose New Level, and since the Motion Design plugin is activated, I can get this 3D Motion Graphics template level. I'll create that. Not going to save any changes to my existing dance level. And now we have this brand new level with the cloner that we don't need. So we'll click on the cloner system, hit the delete key, and click yes to get rid of all of that. Next, I do want to save this because I will want to render this later, and it's important that your level is saved when you're going to render. So Control-Shift-S to save this, and I can keep it under kinetic text, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the music subfolder for now, and we'll just call this music demo level. Save. Okay, so now if I go to content browser, there it is, music demo level. All right, so now I'll create my text. I'll go ahead and change from selection mode to motion design mode, click on the actors page of the motion design tool panel, and double click on text actor. So now we've got some text in our level. I'll go to details and we'll change this text to the word dance with an exclamation point, enter. I want this to always be uppercase, so we'll select that. The font, I want that really cool font. Where was that font? There it is, Showcard Gothic. And then I'll increase the size. I'm going to make this 350. And then we want to center this in our level. So I will scroll down in my details and choose horizontal alignment center. Great. Let's double check the position of our text. So I'll scroll up and we're at 0, 0, 0. Let's lift that up about 20 centimeters so that it's up off the floor. And then let's give it some volume. So scrolling down in details here under geometry, we have extrude. I'm going to extrude this 50 units and we'll bevel for 1 unit. So now we've got some volume for our text. And I think that's most of the things. I guess the last thing I want to do is frame up my camera. So let's make sure I'm looking through. The default scene has a 35mm camera, so I'll click on camera here, choose 35mm, and I'd like some more dramatic perspective. So with the camera selected, I will look for, here it is, the focal length. I'm going to change that from 35 to 22. There we go. Now I've got a little bit of wide angle going on. I think I can use my left mouse button to pivot and my right mouse button. Yeah, my right mouse button or my left mouse button. I guess my left mouse button I can push in and pull back, as well as pivot left and right. But in motion design mode, I can't use my regular 2-button mouse click to pan or slide across the screen. So what I'll do is scroll up to our location and just kind of click and drag in X to get closer, and then click and drag in Y to slide across. Maybe we'll get closer again, right click. There we go, we're almost there. I'm gonna click and drag in Z to get closer to the floor here. And then again, right click just to center this up and be able to see all of that text. There we go. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and lock my camera so I don't accidentally move it again. And let's see, what else do we want to do here? I guess what we'll want to do is get our music going so we can hear our music. Now, I have the music as WAV files in my file system, and I just drag drop that WAV file into my project. So here it is in music, and this is the resulting Soundwave asset. Right, so that was just a result of drag dropping a WAV file in here. And so we're going to add that to our sequencer. I'm going to click the plus add button in sequencer and choose an audio track. And yeah, sure, we'll do the timing of our sequence based on the music. And we're at the beginning of our animation. I am going to use 24 frames a second just for frame efficiency. So clicking on the drop down, instead of our broadcast standard of 59.94, we'll go to film 24 frames per second. All right, now I'll go ahead and click the plus button, type in the word fun because that's in the name of my file, and FA sounds fun. All right, so there is our music in the sequencer. We can hit play. All right, so here is where our current playhead position is. I'm going to click on that and go to frame 300, enter, and then I will click on the end sequence button here so that this is now the duration of our sequence. So I had mentioned earlier where I was using the Soundwave Animator in the operator stack, which, by the way, if your operator stack is not showing, you can click this button here to make sure it's available. But one of the things that I wanted to do as a little bit of a trick is I didn't want this moving all over the place for all of the horns and everything that's going on in the song. Really, I wanted it to bounce with the beat, mainly the bass drum. So I cheated a little bit. I did use the studio version of Davinci Resolve. So let's switch over to that for a second to take a look at what's going on. And here is the original audio track. Right, so there's all our horn music. What I did in the studio version of Resolve is I made a duplicate of that track. And then in the audio settings, I went to the AI music remixer, activated that, and muted everything except for the drums. So with these checkboxes activated, I was left with just the drum track. And then scrolling down, I cheated a little bit further, activated the equalizer, and just crushed all of the mids and highs. And I'm left with just the lows, which gives us mainly just bass drum. So this is going to be the audio that the text is going to respond to with the Soundwave Animator. So I exported that as a WAV file and brought that into Unreal, and here it is in Unreal. All right, so let's apply that to our dance word. So back to sequencer, and we'll select our 3D text actor. I will go ahead and add an animator, and this will be, of course, the Soundwave Animator. Now, I want all of the animations for this to be driven by the sequencer. None of them are going to be based on the world clock. So here under the first animators section under global time source, I'm going to change this to sequencer. And then I'll use the create track button, boom, to create this timing track. So now the sequencer is going to drive the timing of our animators. Now the nice thing though is with the Soundwave, I can go ahead and select a different sound file than is actually playing in the sequencer. So with sampled Soundwave, I'm going to click the drop down, I'll type in the word fun, and instead of the sounds fun, I'm going to do sounds fun drums. And now I only have the drum sounds that are in this animator. To see them do anything, I'm going to go ahead and add a linked property. This will be our scale, and I'll use relative scale. All right, so for our relative scale, I want to make sure amplitude min is 1, 1, 1, and then traditionally we would like pop the text up. So I'm just going to type in 2 for now, right? So now anytime we get a beat, the text pops up. So let's go to the beginning and hit play. So the only thing is that I'm not really a fan of this because I'm accustomed to thinking about a bass drum being the pedal of the drum, the foot going down. And so what I really want to do is have the text squash on the bass drum. So instead of stretching, I'm going to invert the min and max. The min is really when our audio wave file is at min, and max is when the audio wave file is at max. So for min, I'll set a value of 2. And for max sound value, I want a scale of 1. And so now, if we go back to the beginning, our text should actually squash down on every beat. Cool. So I really like that. I'll do a Control-Shift-S to save all of those changes. Now I want to add a little bit of sway to this. So I want the dance word to basically wiggle back and forth using a bend deformer. However, with the bend deformer, I don't want it responding to sound because I just want it to go back and forth with the beat regardless of what's going on with scale. So now this song is 120 beats per minute, which translates to 2 beats per second. So if I use an oscillate animator on the bend deformer value, then I can go from one value to a new value and then back again all within 1 second, and that will be the word basically dancing back and forth to the beat. So let's go ahead back to the beginning of our sequence, and first I'm going to add the bend deformer that will bend our dance back and forth. So we'll go to the modifiers page of the operator stack, add a modifier. First I need to convert this text to a dynamic mesh, so I'll click on that converter, and then I can add the bend deformer. Okay, this is a little bit much, so we'll go ahead and change our bend position. We'll raise it up about 200 units. And now we're bending that text over, but still the angle is too much. Let's knock that down to 15. And this looks fine. So we're just going to go from -15 to +15 and back again with each beat of the music. So to animate the angle, I'm just going to right click on the value, choose oscillate, and then choose the angle as being the property that's going to get animated. So here we are in our animators, and by default we're using a sine wave, and our amplitude min and max are 360, negative and positive. I actually want this to be that -15, +15, so amplitude min -15 and amplitude max +15. Okay, so this will be our back and forth. However, we have a couple other things to change. First of all, we're currently in an additive mode. So where I already had a 15 here, we're adding right now 0 to that. So I want to change this to absolute mode. Now, here is another issue. We're starting on a downbeat, and a sine wave starts with a 0 value. If you remember your trigonometry, sine wave starts at 0, climbs to 1, then descends through 0 to a -1, and then rises again to a value of 0 at the end. So that would constitute a single loop of the sine wave. And we're good with that being in 1 second because we get positive and our negative peak all within 1 second. However, the sine wave starts at 0. We want to start on a downbeat. So instead of using the sine wave, I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here in our loop curve and choose cosine instead. Cosine starts at +1, descends through 0 to -1, and then rises up again through 0 back to +1, all in one loop. And our cycle is a 1 second cycle. So that'll get us from 1 to -1 and back again, all in 1 second for basically the 2 beats that happen in that second. So here's 1 beat, and then about 12 frames in, the other beat is facing the other way, and then at frame 24, we're a full second in, and we're leaning the other way. So now, as we work through our sequence, the dance animation is going to go back and forth as we need with the beat, but it doesn't have to vary with the drum beat. Instead, we'll just be scaling. So now we're just about ready to render, but there's one missing piece, and that is that our sequence does not have a designated camera cut track, meaning it doesn't designate what camera should be used whenever it's going to get rendered. So let's add another track, and this will be a camera cut track. And then for that camera cut track, I want to add this camera. I'm looking through the camera. It says 35mm, that's its name, even though we set it to 22mm. So with the playback head on frame 0, we'll click the plus button, new binding, choose cam 35mm, and now we have our camera cut track. If I click on this button, we're looking through that camera. Control-Shift-S to save, and now we should be ready to render. I'll click on our cinematic clapperboard here, and that'll bring up our movie render queue. Now by default, we have an unsaved configuration. That's fine. I'll click on that to make some adjustments. By default, we're rendering to a sequence of JPEG images. I don't want that. I want to render to a video file. So click on plus settings and choose MP4. I'll deactivate the JPEG. And finally, for output, instead of using a procedural name, I'll go against the grain here and just give it a deliberate name of Music Demo 01. And we're good at 1920 by 1080. So we'll go ahead and accept those changes, and let's render this. Okay, so the render is done. That took about 1.5 minutes. So obviously, again, not real time at all. And let's go ahead and bring back our media viewer and put this new video into the media viewer. So to do that, first I want to read in our file. So I'll go to my content browser, right click, and add a media file source. So I'm typing in media, and I'm choosing file media source. Double click to open that up, and we'll click on the ellipsis button for file path and choose our render, Music Demo 01, open, and save that and close. Maybe I'll F2 rename this, and we'll just call this music demo file, enter. So now I can go ahead and put that into our sequencer as a media track. So back in sequencer, clicking the plus button, choosing media track, and then I'll use the plus button on the media track to select the media source that is the music demo file. Great. All right, so that's filling out the track, but we do need to write this to a texture. So I can use the texture that I was using before, or I could just create a whole new one. So let's just go through the process of creating a new one. So right now, if I expand, this is the one that we were using before. I can right click, go to properties, and here our media texture socket is empty. I'll click on the drop down, create new asset. I'm gonna choose a media texture asset. We'll call this music demo texture. And if I right click and go to properties just to verify that new asset is in our media texture. So here in the media viewer, if I click on library, it's not showing up. So let's do a refresh. Okay, great. And here is our music demo texture. All right, so I'll select that and I will click on A, and that will put that video into the A slot. And now we are looking at it. I'm just going to mute the 3D text actor track just to make sure that all the calculations involved in that doesn't interfere with playback. And now we should be able to playback, see the video, and hear this audio. Well, there you go. That is the whole tutorial. I hope this helped. Until next time, have fun.